Hey, how's it going out there today, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. Gonna do a little video here about a load I brought up from, brought this back up from Tennessee up here to Minnesota. Load of chicken, frozen. So yeah, let me get into it. I don't normally do videos about back hauls, but I don't want everybody to think every load is great and glorious. You know, sometimes you gotta, as I like to say, some days you eat the chicken, some days you eat the feathers, you know? Like, it's give and take in this business. So I figured I'd do a video about a back haul to explain kind of how I do back hauls, why I do back hauls, and a little review of the load itself. So let's get into it. So I start this load out. I took a load down to Atlanta, got paid bank to go to Atlanta. You know, you get your money going in or you get your money coming out. It's hard to get it both ways. So I got paid good going in for a reason. Tons of trucks in Atlanta. Delivered Monday morning. Just a total saturated market. Nothing there of any kind of value that I want to put on a trailer. You can keep your, you can keep your $1 a mile freight. The reason, here's my strategy on back hauls. I like to get my back hauls straight back to Minnesota or straight back to Chicago, where I have direct customer freight, because it pays better. And I do back hauls just for the simple fact of I like to make a little something coming back. You know, I'm not gonna haul garbage for cheap, but I will deadhead to get a decent load on the back haul, because I like to make something on the way back. You know, if I can pay the bills with the back haul, and then I can, keep the good paying load, that's typically like a strategy I like to use. So, sorry, we're rocking. I'm getting unloaded right now. So, we were in Atlanta, nothing of value there. I did a little short hop in Atlanta. I did a little favor load, 40-mile load. That kind of killed the rest of my Monday, but honestly, there was nothing coming out of there Monday. So I was like, well, I'll wait till Tuesday and see what's better. The little one hop load it was a one pallet, basically from one side of Atlanta to the other. That kind of covered my expenses for sitting Monday afternoon waiting on a load for Tuesday. And still nothing Tuesday. So, I couldn't find anything in Atlanta. The company I'm leased to, I called the guys in the office. I said, hey, do y'all have anything in Atlanta or on the way back? Because, it's kind of my strategy. I want to get straight back. I don't want to do from like Atlanta to Indianapolis to Minnesota. I don't want to waste time on the back haul. I want my back haul to come straight back, because the key is to get the back haul over with as soon as possible and get to making some real money on some direct customer freight. That's my strategy. So I couldn't find anything out of Atlanta. I looked for Chattanooga. Couldn't find anything out of Chattanooga. So finally, I called the office, because they check like so many load boards. They're checking like carrier load boards. They're checking brokerage loads boards. They're like just combing through nonstop. And they found a load out of right out of Nashville area. It was basically paying the same loads out of Atlanta we're paying back to Minnesota. I said, okay, so I can deadhead through all the mountains, get up to Nashville, pick up the load, because it's heavy. It's 39 and some change, so basically 40,000 pound load. I said I can deadhead through all the mountains, save the wear and tear on the truck and everything, and basically get the same pay from Nashville as I can in Atlanta. I don't understand freight markets, how they work like that, but they do. So I will tell you this: if you can't find nothing but $1.25 freight where you're at, just figure out where you need to be to get to good freight, and then start looking along the route. And sure enough, Nashville to Minnesota was paying the same as Atlanta to Minnesota. 250 more miles you got to drive, pays the exact same amount. Do not understand it. So I deadhead up there. I get this load of chicken. All is well. It was 3 p.m. pickup. They loaded in like 2.5 hours, so not a long load time for a load of chicken out of a processing plant. Did have a little issue. It was a blind pickup. So the broker wanted it set to 0, but they loaded it at 20 degrees, and they wanted it at 20 degrees to leave the gate, which kind of puts a little bit of an issue on the reefer, because reefer units aren't made to bring your product down to a certain temperature. They're made to maintain a temperature. So when you load it at 20 degrees and it's set at 20 degrees, and then the broker wants me to, as soon as I get outside the gate, stop, set it to 0. Okay, so my reefer unit's pretty much been running ham sandwich for 2 days now, trying to pull this load of chicken down 20 degrees. It's not easy. That thing has been running hard. I called the carrier that I'm leased to. I called the owner of the carrier because it's his trailer, and I said, hey, here's what they're trying to do, and I just want you to know, because it's, you know, it's rough on your trailer. And he said, yeah, it's, you know, it's what it is. It's not ideal, but he's like, you know, to pull the load, that's what we're going to have to do. So we did it. You know, I just wanted to check with him because, you know, that trailer's been giving it hell for 2 days now. And it literally got down to 50 degrees last night in Wisconsin. And finally it hit 0 degrees. I got up this morning and it was like 0.6. It had been coming down steadily, but like yesterday in the middle of the day, it was like 5 to 7 degrees. It just couldn't get it any lower than that. So yeah, that was what was up with that. That's a big pain in the butt. Had to deal with that. It never fails, these cheap paying backhauls, which I'm not going to call this load a super cheap load, because I made it less because I had to deadhead a lot to get it. But ultimately, not a horrible load, especially coming back to the Midwest. When I talked to the broker, he says, yeah, everybody's trying to get back to the Midwest right now. So everybody stop blowing up my spot, okay? No, I'm just kidding. But kinda. Kinda not. But, you know, that's why loads coming back to the Midwest are down right now, because everybody's trying to get up here to get the better paying loads. Now, wintertime rolls around, I don't see it happening as much. You know what I mean? That's why I like the winter. That's why I dig November, December, January, February, because ain't nobody trying to get up here. Ain't nobody trying to get to the Midwest. I got my pick of loads back to the Midwest then, because ain't nobody trying to deal with the wind and the snow. So there's your little strategy too. Go where nobody else wants to. Sometimes it pays off. But anyway, ran the load back up here. You know, had to take what I had to get, but it never fails. Like I said before, you get a load that's not the greatest of loads, and it's always got 100 little stipulations, and you got check calls on top of check calls. Dude, this load had an app. The brokerage had an app. They wanted the temperature entered into their app 3 times a day. They did the location check, like the auto check where you don't have to do nothing, it just checks your location. They did that on the hour, every hour. They wanted temperature entered 3 times, 8 a.m., 12 p.m., and 4 p.m. And then on top of that, they called me. I'm going to say in the last 2 days, they've called me 8 to 9 times. And then I would tell them something, and they would call the guy in the office that booked the load for me. They would call him, ask him the same thing they just asked me, and then he would call me and ask me the same thing they just. I'm like, God dang, man, why don't we just stay on like a 3-way call the whole trip, you know? Like, I wish I had that guy's personal number so I could call him at like 11 p.m. and be like, hey, I'm in, you know, wherever, you know, I'm in Rockford. Just so you know, I'm in Rockford, 0 degrees. But anyway, that's how them cheap loads go. Now, given this wasn't a super cheap load, but it's typically not the $4 a mile loads. You know, like the one I took to Atlanta, that load paid $4.40 a mile loaded miles. All right. Not once did I get a call. Not once did they do anything. I looked on the app. You know, they had an app as well. I looked on their app. It had never updated one time. They never checked on me at all. So I'm just like, it never fails. It's the lower paying load. They'll check on you and they'll bug you to death. But anyway, it's a small price to pay to be making a living, I guess. Have to answer some phone calls and deal with some idiots. But anyway, let's get down to some numbers on this load. $1,800 load. Excuse me, $1,800 load. 928 loaded miles on this load. So the loaded miles was $1.94. So like I said, not a horrible load. Pretty good to go from the southeast back to the Midwest. You know, to get up here to the land of milk and honey. You got to do what you got to do. $1.94, not horrible. Here's where I killed it. Here's where I drug it out back and shot it like old Yeller behind the shed. 261 miles of deadhead. Yeah, 261. I took it from Atlanta all the way up to Nashville. Deadhead. And a little bit of that deadhead is because you can't find a truck stop in Atlanta, so I actually went the wrong way out of Atlanta. Because I said, hey, we'll probably go up here and get a load of chicken. And sure enough, I went the wrong way, so I had to double back into Atlanta. Whatever. Maybe I should have paid the $25 and risk getting mugged at the Petro in Atlanta. Who knows? You live and you learn. But anyway, 261 miles of deadhead there. Total 1,190 miles. Total miles on that. On an $1,800 load, that's $1.51 to the carrier. Yeah, that's backhaul money right there. Let me tell you, that's backhaul money. That's why I'm doing this video, because not every load's a killer. But if you get, think of it like this, you get $4.41 to go in a mile. So don't expect $4.41 to come out. To come out at, you know, $1.51, do some quick math on that. That's like, what, $6 a mile divided by 2. That's like $3 a mile round trip. Not bad. I take that. So basically the way it worked out, I went down from Minnesota to Chicago. I took a $1,200 load, Minnesota to Chicago. I took a $3,000 load, Chicago to Atlanta. And then, so that's, what, $4,200, then $1,800 back to Minnesota. So like $6,000 to go from Minnesota to Atlanta. Yeah, not horrible. Not horrible. About a week running, I think. When did I start this journey? Probably about this time last week. But anyway, back to this load we're on. 2-day run. I picked this up, what is today? Wednesday. I picked this up. No, today's Thursday. I picked this load up on Tuesday afternoon at 3 p.m. It's, I don't know, it's noonish, 1 o'clock right now, I would imagine, getting unloaded right now. So it was a 2-day run. So not incredibly horrible. You know, remember, you got to think, it's a backhaul. So you got to keep that in mind. But I did want to do a video to show you, like, you know, the backhaul game. You know, it's not, the backhaul game is not, you know, it's not all trophies and winners. It's a lot of doing what you got to do, honestly. And you don't have to do it. I mean, I could have deadheaded back. I mean, I got 441 from Chicago down. So I could have deadheaded straight back to Chicago and still, you know, been decent. But let's go over some math and some numbers of what we spent on this load. I got an $8 toll in there for going up through Illinois. $4.15 on diesel on this load. I did not use anywhere near $4.15 on diesel. I've got about 3/4 of a tank right now. I just bought it while I found the cheapest fuel that I knew I was not going to be within fuel like that within probably 800 to 1,000 miles. So I just bought it all I could. So $4.15 on diesel. I'm getting about 8.2 miles a gallon since I bought diesel. So that's from like the bottom of Illinois up to where I'm at now. So not bad, not bad. Pulling a heavy load, I'm okay with it. A little bit of a headwind yesterday, not a huge headwind, like maybe 5-10 mile an hour. Did not idle last night, got really cool last night, so enjoyed the no idling. $17 on DEF, not bad. Here's the big one, $94 on reefer on a 2-day run. You know, I didn't start with a full reefer tank, and I'm ending with pretty much a full reefer tank. I stopped literally like 2 hours before I got here this morning and topped it back off. So I would say probably used about 60 of that. Now this reefer unit has been running like wide open, and this has a Thermo King, and it's not the big Thermo King. This is not the trailer or the unit I would prefer to try to pull a meat load down 20 degrees with. That's why I'm using more, but it is what it is. So $94 in reefer, that is $534 in veritable expenses. The load was $1,800, like I said, $1.51 to the carrier, $14.40 to the truck, which is $1.21 to the truck. Yeah, that's your backhaul money right there. $14.40 to the truck minus $534 veritable expenses. So we are left with $906 on that. So it's backhaul money. It's backhaul money. Not horrible though. I mean, that's still almost $1 a mile on the loaded miles. So you do what you got to do with backhauls, guys. That's the whole point of the video, is strategize your backhauls. Just know that, and here's the number one strategy I can give you for backhauls. Look at the place you're going and get the load prices coming out. You know, because right now reefer's paying really good. You should be like $250 a mile. I think you should be at about $250 a mile right now on reefer rates. but you have to average that. Not every one of them is going to be $2.50 a mile. Maybe $2.50 is a little high. Let's say $2.25. You should be, I think reasonably, you should be somewhere between $2 and $2.50 a mile right now, on a round trip. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I'm not saying like you should be at $2.50 a mile everywhere, but say you look and they're offering a load for $3.50 a mile, and you're like, all right, let me hurry up and book that. Well, make sure the place you're going isn't like 80 cents a mile, because then you're going to be kind of low on average. You know what I'm saying? Like, just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. Always look at like where you're going to get back to where you're at. Strategize that before, and then work that into your price. That's your strategy. That's the only negotiating you have, is like to let them know where I'm going to take your load. I'm going into a dead zone. I'm probably going to have to deadhead 200, 300, 400 miles to get out of there, because I ain't pulling 80 cents a mile freight. So you're going to have to pay me, because I'm going to need the money to come out. That's the only really negotiating you got, because the freight market is so liquid now. It's tough to really have any kind of negotiating. With all these tracking apps and all this, man, all these brokers know where you're at. They know the price they can get something moved and something they can't get moved. I seen a commercial on here the other day for the DAT load board, but it wasn't advertising for the trucker. It was advertising the broker side. It was trying to get brokers to sign up. And they're one of the brokers on there. I'd like to meet this guy, but he says, I like DAT load board because I know if I'm paying too much to move freight because of DAT's stats and whatever. So if I need to lower the price, I can lower the price. And I'm like, yeah, that's about what it is right there. So don't think these load boards are out to help you. They're out to help themselves. And anytime I download one of these tracking apps, the second I'm done with a load, that tracking app's gone. I'm not gonna let you keep tabs on me and where I'm at. I rarely post my truck. It's not a strategy I really care for. So just something to throw it out there, like they're slowly but surely taking all the negotiating out of it. So the backhaul is one part you can negotiate on the front end, just saying. But anyway, guys, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Be sure to hit that share, like, and subscribe button on the way out. And if you found the video informative, give it a old thumbs up. And I hope it helps somebody out there on their backhaul strategies. Until later, guys, take care of each other. Bye.